it is time. So, today we're here because I'm launching the Kickstarter. I'm so excited. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch the trailer for the Veronica Swift Mysteries because I figured out how to share my screen, and then we'll launch into some questions that I have saved up. And then once those questions are finished, then I will round this out. But in about 20 minutes, I'm going to be launching the Kickstarter. So either that will end the video, or we will stop the questions, answer, or go and launch, and then come back and we will continue answering questions until we're done. All right, so let me go ahead and share the trailer. We want window, this one, share. All right. Wasn't that just the most adorable thing ever? Sorry. I really, really love it. Very proud of myself for creating it. Alright, so we have done the trailer. So now it's time for questions. Question 1 is, what inspired you to write the Veronica Swift Mysteries, and how did the idea for the series come about? So, I've given a little bit of this in my video about, I think I called it the creation story video. But the idea came about because I was reading a bunch of cozy mysteries, and I've always read mystery, and it took me a very long time to identify that I probably should be writing mystery because I absolutely love it. Most of the shows that I watch is mystery. Most of the books I read are mystery. Even if they're fantasy, they have mystery elements to them. I just love a good puzzle. And so I was getting burned out on middle grade fantasy because I do have a pen name under that. And fantasy was burning me out. I also had some personal life stuff happening, and I had edited a full book and none of it was saved by Google. So I was also just really irritated about that as well. So I've put my middle grade pen name aside, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do cozy mystery because 1, I love the genre, and 2, I kind of need to see if I can sell books so that I can sustain a career as an author and not just continue pouring money into it. So the idea for Ronnie in particular happened because she was supposed to be a leprechaun, which is what I've mentioned in the story before, or in the videos. And so basically she was supposed to be a leprechaun. She was supposed to be going up to Last Resort and Spa, which was undercover, super paranormal. But everybody was hiding the fact that they were paranormal, and basically she was supposed to uncover all of the paranormal elements that were there and how the ecosystem up there worked. However, I was so burned out, so I decided to change it from paranormal to contemporary, so that I didn't have to try to come up with the rules for each magical entity. I didn't have to create rules for the world, because I could just base it in real life rules. So Ronnie was originally going to be a leprechaun with bad luck. And so some of the references in the books that are still there are references because they were from when she was going to be a leprechaun, but also like Ronnie just has bad luck in general. And she's super duper clumsy. And so it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that was kind of how Ronnie got started. And she was a cobbler, a shoemaker, because she was a leprechaun. And when you dig into like what leprechauns did, they were cobblers. So I was like, okay, she can be a cobbler. That's an unusual profession for a female, so that'll be fun as well. And then I had a lot of fun bringing in like other business owners. And her best friend is head of security for Last Resort and Spa, which is a woman. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did have someone like review my books and be like, I just didn't like all the traditional roles. And I'm like, you didn't read this book then, because there's a lot of untraditional things in this book. There are occasions, like, the men folk have traditional jobs. They are traditionally, like, they're cops. Her brother's a cop. Angie's beau, because he's not her boyfriend initially, is the head detective. And then you have Liam, who comes in later, and he's a fireman. And like, they have traditional male roles, but the female roles are not traditional. And so, yeah. But the next question then on this list, and if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. The second question, can you share any challenges you faced while writing this series, and how did you overcome them? I faced quite a bit, actually. Okay, sorry. I faced quite a bit. There was a couple of things that happened in my personal life that really threw a wrench in the schedule that I was trying to create for myself. But then also, book 2, I wrote the full draft. Then I trashed it, wrote on another full draft, and I think I ended up trashing that one as well and wrote one more draft of book 2 before it was actually correct. Which is always painful, but I am committed to writing the story as it needs to be told, and that means I will trash and redraft as many times as necessary. Book 1 also was a struggle to edit, because what I did was I wrote book 1 first, and so I was establishing the characters as if they'd never met each other. And then I wrote the prequel. And in the prequel, that's when they're actually meeting each other, and the interplay between the characters was much better in the prequel, because I had already established what I needed to know as the author in book 1. So then I had to go back and I had to edit book 1 into and like fix the interactions, because they were like stilted and like they didn't know each other. What else? Book. So book 3 is probably my favorite. It at least has my favorite line in it. which is on one of the reward tiers for the Kickstarter, is you get a printable bookmark in the digital reward pack, and it has a conversation between Ronnie and Jellybean. And so Ronnie had gotten a call from the doggy daycare saying that she needed to come pick Doodle up at the pool that was just being revealed, and that they needed to talk to her about what happened. And so Ronnie goes to Jellybean, "You don't think he did something, or what do you think Doodle did?" And she's like, "Find another dead body." And Ronnie responds, "That's not funny, but Doodle did in fact find another dead body, because that is like one of the main premises of the series, is that her dog has a nose for murdered people and likes to show her where they are." He has a very strong sense of justice, we'll say that. So that one wasn't as challenging, which was surprising for me. I expected it to be challenging. Book 4 and 5 had their own challenges, because I had given out whatchamacallit. I had given away the option for people on my ARC review team to choose a weapon. I had 2 choose weapons and 1 choose the victim. And so book 4 and 5 are actually the choose the weapons. And book 4 is a very specific cobbler's tool, and book 5 was an icicle. And so having those already be decided as the weapons was kind of difficult, and it was a new challenge for me to work around. I really enjoyed it because it kept me on my toes as a writer, and I do enjoy a challenge. So yeah, there was a lot of like personal stuff that happened that I'm not really willing to share as far as challenges that went on. But yeah, personal life was difficult. So our next question is, tell us about your favorite character in the Veronica Swift mysteries and why they hold a special place in your heart. Okay. So I love all of my characters, to be quite honest, and I love them all in different ways. But Jellybean has to hold the biggest place in my heart, and it's because she's so ornery. Like, she just intentionally picks at people to make them uncomfortable. She does it all the time. So if you haven't read the books, Jellybean is this 60-something-year-old woman who runs a lingerie store and has some other stuff in the back of the store. And she knows Ronnie's a virgin and super uncomfortable about talking about stuff. And she doesn't talk about stuff in like the grandmotherly sense. She's kind of crass about it. So like, it's just so fun to have her as a foil against other people, because like Angie lets it roll off of her. Jade is uncomfortable. Ronnie is so uncomfortable. And then like the boys in general are just like, that's funny, but also this is awkward because you're a lady. So it was just, she's my favorite character to write into a scene, especially when we get into like Aunt Miriam. Aunt Miriam is Ronnie's great aunt, and she's this super prude woman who like is so over the top that she doesn't even want to talk to people that have had intercourse outside of marriage. And so putting her and Jellybean together, that was so much fun. That was so much fun. And I think that's in I want to say that's book 5 when Aunt Marion shows up the first time. She does show up on multiple occasions, so because she was a fun character to write as well. The next question is, what can readers expect from the paperback edition that sets it apart from the digital version? I'm so glad you asked, because we're heading into launching the Kickstarter in just 5 minutes. So the question, or the answer to that is, we're doing foiling on the cover, and that's where it starts. So like, that's the floor. We're gonna foil the title page, or like the cover of the books, and I am so excited about this. It's gonna be so pretty. I'm also gonna do like a heavier cover board and possibly heavier paper. I have to see how like all of this stuff works its way out. Book Vault has not released the new stuff yet. They said they'll be releasing it the first week of April, which means that I'm still in limbo, but I'm going to use them as a distributor. So the floor is foiling, but we can go way beyond foiling. And if we hit some of these stretch goals, there's going to be like character art that's going to be in this book. Or not character art, chapter art. So like if we hit the $5,000 stretch goal, y'all get chapter art in your print books, but also the ebooks, which makes the ebooks exclusive. And so I'm really excited to also, I haven't been able to physically hold any of these stories yet. So it'll be so much fun to be able to hold the books, I think. But yeah, I think the printing quality from Book Vault is amazing, and I'm excited to see this happen. And I hope you guys are too. I also am super excited about the 5-pack for the print books, because you're not only getting 5 print books, you're also getting the 5 ebooks so that you can read while you're waiting for the books to be printed. But that's not where it stops. You're also getting, any physical tier on the Kickstarter is getting a letter from me. So like a personalized handwritten letter with my stationery, because I've made my own stationery because I'm extra. So I made stationery that I'm going to write a letter to you on. I have book plates that I'm going to send. So if you get the 5-pack, you will get 5 book plates to put in each of the books with my signature, to kind of like increase the value of these books, because I couldn't print them, get them sent here, and then send them out to you, because that will be, one, way too time consuming, because it's going to take forever for the books to get here, and then for me to send them back out. Like, shipping to Guam is crazy. But also costly. Like, it's really expensive to ship here. So it was just easier for me to use a distributor that'll send you the books, and then for me to send you a much smaller package with a sticker to put inside with my signature on it. You'll also get the digital reward pack when you get any of the physical tiers. You get the digital reward pack as well, which includes audio commentary, which just think of as like a director's cut of your favorite movie. So that'll have all 5 books. Then there's also a desktop saver with all 10 books on it, and then the printable bookmark I mentioned before. So yeah, and I think we'll go ahead and take a time out from the questions, and we'll go launch this Kickstarter, and then we'll jump back into the questions, because I think I have 2 more questions to answer. So, yep. All right. Where was it? Launching Kickstarter. And if you have questions, please leave them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. Sorry, it's loading. It's loading very slowly. All right. Whew, I'm getting nervous. Okay. Gonna do the share screen option again. Window. This one. Share. Okay, and I've never done this, so hopefully this comes quickly and easily, but we shall see. Yep. Oh. I need to do that one. I'm glad they had that little note there. Okay. Because this is the... Hold on. I'm so confused. I wish you would just... Okay, that's already active. So I think I do need to launch, because I'm not actually launching. This is me learning. Okay, let's try again. Oh my god, it's live! Okay, it's live. Okay. It's there for everybody to see. I'm so nervous, but okay. And go back to questions before I freak out entirely, because it's bound to happen. All right. So, last two questions. All right. Are there any hidden Easter eggs or references in the Veronica Swift mysteries that readers might have missed? So, because it's the first series, there are no Easter eggers. No Easter eggers. No Easter eggs. Not really. Because so I thought about it. If I was going to make it a paranormal, because I had the fantasy series, I was gonna make like references to Butter Pond. But since it's a contemporary, no, there's not. There will be in the next series, because it's a spin-off in the way that there's a related character which you don't meet until book 6. So if you haven't read book 6, then you won't know who Dahlia is. But Dahlia is the next lead in the mysteries. And I'll be writing her story this year after we're done this Kickstarter craziness. So that I can focus on writing those stories. But yeah, there's no Easter eggs. So, last question. How has the feedback been from readers who experienced the digital version, and what made you bring the series to paperback? Okay, so I have had a lot of good reviews from people that read the books. They love them. They love how fast and light and easy they are to read. You can easily sit down and read them within a couple of hours because they're pretty short. But the reason I wanted to bring them into paperback is because I love physical books. Physical books is what I started reading on. It is what I still love to do, but I have to admit, I am such a slow reader that I do not sit down and physically read books anymore. But part of the reason that I wanted to be an author was I wanted to have books that were as beautiful as the ones in the library that I would borrow. And, like, granted, library books, unless they were brand new, also are extremely beat up, or like generally well used. So it wasn't even like they were spanking new and like, but the Harry Potter books were embossed and had foiling, and I loved that, and I so wanted to be able to have my books look like that and feel like that. And so that is really what this is about. It's kind of fulfilling an author dream of mine, but also I know that people who love books love pretty books. And so this was my opportunity to give you guys pretty books as well. And so that's really what this Kickstarter is about. What this getting this series into paperback is about for me is giving you a pretty book before we give you the general book, because this is a Kickstarter exclusive, so it won't be sold anywhere except Kickstarter and at in-person events that I host. And since I live on Guam, I most likely will not be hosting any live events near you. That doesn't mean I won't do a virtual one, but that still, with all the shipping and stuff, is pretty sticky, so I don't know. But yeah, those are all of the questions that I have. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining me as we launched the Kickstarter. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great day and stay blessed. Bye.